The first time I heard of Jordan was his senior year when you and me had our interview when I was heading to Indian Hills for the first time. And you were kind of telling me about, this tall kid from Quincy, and he's doing all these things with discs and stuff. And you're like, oh yeah, he's hitting 200 feet. And I was just amazed hearing about it. So and then, finally seeing him at Iowa and seeing what he was doing and, the potential he has is just insane.
It was definitely, when he came on his visit, coach talking about him, he's a real good thrower and everything. And, got to meet him, and he's like, I'm from Fort Madison, and he was like, Chris Dewar? I was like, yes, I know him. And he's like, we need to do something, make sure he gets to a meet next year or something like that.
What can I say? I'm a uniter. All kidding aside, it was, however, freakish talent and potential that accidentally brought Tri-Staters Elijah Barnes and Jordan Johnson together in Iowa City as now 33.3% of the Hawkeyes throws bros, an admittedly unique fraternity within the unique world of college track and field.
We're different than everyone else on the track team. Everyone else, they're pretty slim, they're fit, they run fast, but we're all big. We're just usually off in the Netherlands, somewhere else, wherever they can put a ring. So, it's a different type of bonding that, throwers have, even if they're not on the same team. But when you're on the same team, it's definitely a family.
It is an environment that seems of particular value to Barnes, a late bloomer in the sport who took the road less traveled to get here.
I grew up bleeding black and gold. Being at Iowa was always my dream for whatever sport I was playing at the time. So at one point it was football, at one point it was baseball. So my avenue for athletics just kind of led me down to track. And my high school coach, Andrew Choxel, I wasn't even going to throw in college. And then he kind of pushed me and was like, you know what, I think if you spend some time on this, you could be pretty good at it. So, I kind of took that leap of faith, went JUCO, and now I'm at Iowa.
And in that spirit, he's already thriving from proximity to lifers like his new roommate.
Oh, it's amazing, I'm always a person who I'm willing to learn, whether it's from a coach, whether it's from another athlete, because he's done it for longer than I have, especially with the disc. And, I'm very open, I've only been throwing it for 4 years at this point. So I was, completely open to any kind of, technical changes or anything that could help, and when it's coming from someone like him who's had great success in the sport, I'm humble enough to ask him for help because I'm not at that level yet.
He has a lot of things good with his technique for only being in it for like 3 years. His size is great. He's real strong. That's very important for being mainly a shot put thrower, which he is, and that's really promising for him in the future.
And both homegrown Hawkeyes are eager to maximize their situation, especially post-pandemic.
Yes, long-term it definitely helps me because, we were maybe seeing if I could push for the Olympic trials this coming year, but another year, another training, it's definitely a goal to make the Olympic trials in 2021. There was a lot of lessons to be learned. When I first got there, I thought I could be right up there with them, with all the older guys and stuff, especially with lifting, and I learned pretty quickly that I wasn't, so I learned how to pace myself, do what I can to improve myself and not worry about other people, what they're doing. But, it's just given me another year to get even better and stronger to, do bigger and better things.
There's so many little things to it. Out of all the sports I've ever done, it's the most technical thing I've ever done. And with that, there's a lot of power to be produced with it. And if you're a high school athlete, just because you're my size, there could be a kid who's 5'10", 225, but his technique is sound, and he'll beat you every time. I want to come in and make a name for myself because I am that junior college kid who hasn't competed yet at this level. So I want to come in and, turn some heads and do what I can to be one of the best throwers in the Big Ten.
And equally proud to represent the burgeoning reputation of our region as a cradle of throwers, with Rushville Industries Manning Plater also representing us in the Big Ten now after his graduate transfer from Michigan to the University of Illinois.
Growing up with the sport and looking up to throwers like Manning Plater and Dylan Powell, Blaze Murphin, there are tons of guys that I looked up to, and it really speaks a lot to, how good the area is with throws, and have 3 in the Big Ten and other conferences. You got 1 in the SEC with Chandler. It speaks a lot to what we have here.